Going on, guys? Got some brand new Mortal Kombat news for you. So it turns out that they're going to be focusing on MK12 instead of Injustice 3, and I find it very interesting. And this was just spread out on Twitter just now, so I wanted to share the news with y'all if you don't mind. So it says Netherrealm prioritizing Mortal Kombat 12 over Injustice 3 due to Warner Brothers uncertainty, its claim. So apparently they wanted to just focus on MK12 instead of Injustice 3 like most people hoped for. So don't worry, at least we're getting both animated movies, Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms, and the first Injustice Gods Among Us animated movie. So those are some big plus that we shouldn't be worrying about. But yeah. NetherRealm Studios could be prioritizing a new Mortal Kombat game over its DC superhero series Injustice due to uncertainty over its future with parent company Warner Bros. Games. Now, I think they're good to show you that they are moving on with, from MK11. And some people out there are just still begging for some MK3 pack from MK11, which is clearly dead now. So there's no point of like doing stuff like this anytime soon. That's according to journalist Jeff Grubb, who cites sources in a new Giant Bomb video who suggests that the developer is currently working on MK12. It lines up with the reality, and it lines up with what I've heard, where MK12 will make the most success because that's a game they know will make money. It will sell well. MK11 was great, is doing well, but if you come out with MK12, it will also sell and do well, Grubb said. So he's basically saying that while doing other games, no franchise has ever sold more money than Mortal Kombat. Because Mortal Kombat has always been the ideal game to make money for. Injustice, it did well for the first time, but I just feel like Mortal Kombat has always had a great home for any video game development company that loves to do games that are famously known for. And it's obvious that what he's saying that MK will always make them money. If you put Injustice games out there, it'll make, well, somewhat less money than normally would, but Mortal Kombat will always be that ideal game that everybody will go for, regardless. At the same time, you don't have to use any of these Batman or Superman characters that might be tied up in the licensing if you try to get rid of Netherrealm or sell it to whoever. Yeah, we just talked about that a while back. Last year, WB Games Netherrealm Studios was hiring for the next gen installments of both its fighting game franchise. Netherrealm released the most recent title, Mortal Kombat 11, in March of 2019, followed by a $40 story expansion last year. Meanwhile, Injustice is fighting series based on DC superheroes hasn't seen a release since 2017 sequel. Netherrealm has typically alternate between Injustice and Mortal Kombat. Netherrealm's future with parent company WB Games has looked uncertain for the past year, with overall owner AT&T reportedly considering selling off parts of its game business. AT&T reported put its games division up for sale in 2020, attracting entrants from the likes of Electronic Arts, Take-Two, Microsoft, and Activision Blizzard. You know, last year, last year it was just like a false alarm. Like I said before, you know, there was rumors about them selling to AT&T, but nothing has happened. They didn't come to an agreement. They didn't come to terms. They didn't sign any contract whatsoever. So NetherRealm is at its own thing, is at its own company, is at its own place, so it's never gonna go anywhere. So, because last year this was like one of the most interesting topics that everybody has been talking about when it comes to these fighting game franchises as a whole. Ultimately, no deal was made for its game studios, which also includes the likes of Rocksteady, Batman Arkham, Suicide Squad, Moonlit, Middle Age Games, Shadow of Mordor, War, and TD Games, Lego Games. I think these two I couldn't get it right though, but forgive me for that. And I think we all know that certain levels about, games companies in general, you don't hear any news or anything. You always hear something about Mortal Kombat or Injustice 3, but when it comes to Street Fighter, you barely hear any news from that. I mean, I think we kind of knew that we're going to get like a Street Fighter 6, and it's going to be based right after Street Fighter 2. Well, during Street Fighter 2, which I would have loved for that to happen, because Street Fighter 2 is one of my favorite fighting game franchises of all time. It's the one I grew up with. So it would be nice if they actually went back to the old days, see what events happened right after Street Fighter 2. So a new development took place early this year when AT&T announced it had agreed to deal to offload WB Games' parent Warner Media, which will merge with Discovery to form a new standalone company bowed as one of the largest global streaming players. Dang, I sounded terrible. Let me start over. A new development took place early this year when AT&T announced it had agreed a deal to offload WB Games' parent Warner Media, which will merge with Discovery to form a new standalone company bowed as one of the largest global streaming players. The transaction, which is anticipated to close in mid 2022, will see AT&T receive 43 billion and is what's wrong with me? And is shareholders receive stock representing 71% of the new company. While WB Games wasn't mentioned in May's announcement, a spokesperson told, I can't say his name, the deal will see if broken up in some form. Some of the games are some of the gaming arm will stay with AT&T and some will go with the new company, they said. Bad readings on my part though, but guess that's what happens when you're trying not to get excited and then you forget to slow down sometimes though. But I hope I was able to give y'all some information that I was able to provide with y'all. So yeah, Netherrealm is making MK12 is confirmed. So we'll see if we have some more information on the game. So yeah, comment down below if y'all are interested in MK12. Let me know what are your ideas for this particular news. Put it in the chat and I will see you in my next content.